Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you might be tuning in from. Welcome back to Conversations at Elite Guard. My name is Jonathan Hamilton. I am the operations manager for Elite Guard Sunny Isles, and today I'm being joined by our special guest and colleague, Mr. Kristian Perez. He's our quality control manager. Today, he's going to be adding some value to the podcast and to this discussion. We hope you enjoy it. So today, like I said, we want to dive into, again, some of your background.
Sure.
So how did you first get introduced to security and why?
So essentially, I got introduced into security through a job fair. And there was a security booth there, and one of Elite Guard's flyers were there. Mm-hmm. So what happened was I came to the office, I met Mr. Buffington, and I met his sister. And at that point, I put in an application. I was about 17 years old. And at that point, they still allowed you to work in the office sort of thing, like a temporary D sort of situation.
Man, they recruited you young.
They did. So I was there from 17 till 26. So I was there for 9 years. Through that process, I climbed through the ranks. So I was a field supervisor, a sergeant, DOS, then a road manager, and then I eventually became an instructor. And I did all that through Elite Guard. And then after that journey, I went into law enforcement for a total of 17 years.
Okay, so we'll pause there for a second, right? Because I do want to kind of unpack some of the time with Elite Guard initially. Obviously, you started off very young.
Right.
At 17, where did that awareness come from of, I know I want to do this, and what prompted you to?
I just felt a calling, if you will. I felt a calling to serve, and I really felt the calling to be in security for some reason. It fascinated me, the technical side of it, for example, doing security surveys, security assessments, vulnerability assessments, why do crimes happen in certain areas, and various things like that. Basically, the science behind security. It really attracted me, and obviously I gained multiple certifications in those fields. Okay. But that was interesting, the science of it.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that you were a very analytical, interested, young man growing up?
I would say that.
You wanted to know how things work.
Correct.
And not only how they work, but why they work the way
Correct.
they do. Yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. That's cool. So was your first experience with Elite Guard what you expected the industry to be like? And if so, why? If not?
I wasn't really sure. I was a floater in the beginning, so I got to see a lot of different properties, and I realized pretty early on that every property kind of had its own island, if you will, its own culture.
Personality?
Yeah, personality, for lack of a better word. And at that point, I got to go to all the properties and learn everything, and then that's when they promoted me to a field training officer, where I would train all the new officers. I did that for a significant amount of time. Then I got promoted to field supervisor. Then I got eventually promoted to the office. And it was a very good experience, a lot of learning, a lot of different posts.
Well, it certainly sounds like it.
Yes.
Sounds like, especially in this business, right?
Correct.
And like what you just touched on, the personality of the property changes property to property.
Correct.
And you have to also adjust and adapt accordingly.
Correct.
So segueing out of security, right, you decided to put your eyes on law enforcement.
Correct.
Which you just mentioned.
Yes.
So what prompted that urge and that desire?
So my uncle was a retired police officer from Miami, and he encouraged me. I was pretty young. I was like 26, 27, give or take. And he kept telling me, Chris, it'd be a good experience for you to become a police officer.
Right.
So at that point, I kind of followed in his footsteps in some way. And then I joined the police department, and I was there for a significant amount of time. And it was really good. I was a patrolman most of my life, but I did do different schools. I went to officer survival school. I went to FDLE law enforcement instructor school. So I did go to a few schools. I walked away with 5 commendations in my file. Okay. So I did well. But I felt a calling to come back.
Okay. Now, when you went into law enforcement, which department was that?
That was City of Hialeah.
City of Hialeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
and you survived, right?
I survived. Yeah, it had its moments.
I'm sure it did.
And then I was with PBSO for 7.
Now, just for the viewers, right, and for the sake of some entertainment, I know law enforcement is obviously a very crazy industry and can be very turbulent at times.
Sure.
What was one of the craziest encounters that you had during your time in Hialeah?
Probably the incident that led to me actually becoming a firearms instructor. So we had a situation where we had a gentleman, it was about 8 in the morning, naked in an alley, and he had been on PCP, coke, and LSD.
Straight to the birthday suit.
Right, exactly. So there was alcohol, and he was basically naked with alcohol and drugs all over him. Myself and another officer responded, and right as I approached him, he tried to grab my gun. And as a police officer, I had okay defensive tactics, but nothing special. Just what I learned in the police academy, basically. Right. And I had an idea of firearms because I was a G officer before that, but nothing very specific. I didn't really know a lot outside of the academy and what the G course taught. Right. And basically, we subdued him, but he was able to almost take my gun out. And it took about 6 of us to take him down. He was on PCP, so that obviously was a factor. Yeah. And then after that experience, I went into learning to become a use of force instructor. Okay. And then I became a combative tactics instructor, a firearms instructor, and then I went to various different, I became a Krav Maga instructor, spear instructor, and I learned from the best of the best, if you will.
So I'm sitting next to a very bad man, is what you're telling me. Right?
No, they're the bad man, not me. I'm just a pupil, just a student, still am.
But you're still humble, obviously.
No, they can do things I can't. But yes, I learned a lot from them. And then, I got all my licenses, my D, my G, my C, my DI, my K, my M. Right. So I was able to get all that, and I got a few board certifications out of it. Yeah. And
we'll definitely dive into some of that because
sure.
Obviously, again, for the viewers, they may or may not know what those letters represent. So we're going to get into some of that. But I do want to humanize this part of the conversation just a little bit, because I think what happens sometimes, particularly for people on the outside of law enforcement, right? They never experienced it or dealt with it on an intimate level, especially not how you did.
Right.
You might want to speak to the idea to the audience and to the listeners of what went through your mind in that moment when that guy was coming at you and he tried to it was like, what did you feel in that moment?
I felt obviously there was some form of fear, but I felt I wasn't trained enough. That's really what I felt. I felt my ability his ability will exceed what I can deal with. And then...
so you would classify that as fear then, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I really didn't know how to defend myself, not to the level that I should have. And that kind of led me to learning the spear combative tactics, which talks about what are the 3 things that we experience, and is fear, aggression, and violence, and how your body responds to that. From a psychological standpoint, from an emotional cognitive standpoint, and you lose 2 things under that. So your cognitive function diminishes significantly, of course. And you go to basically what's called gross motor skills, you lose fine motor skills, and then your emotional elasticity, which basically that is the ability to absorb data, what we call soft focus in the industry. Soft focus is where you can function under stress, but in an environment that's cohesive, where you can still fight through, you're digging deep.
Of course.
And I felt, at the end of the day that I didn't have enough training as a police officer. And that began my journey. That happened to me many years ago, probably 20 years ago.
And fair to say, you thought about your own safety, your partner, your family.
Correct.
It took your loved ones.
It took 6 of us to take him down. And I think because all of us lacked the additional training. And after that, I kind of made it my mission, if you will. I went to the NRA Firearm Law Enforcement Academy. I went to various different schools. I learned about the use of force continuum, force on force matrix, the science behind the use of force continuum, and the ability to be aware of where you're at on the use of force continuum, where you're at. And I think that's what a lot of police officers struggle with, including myself at that time, is that I had no idea where I was at on the use of force continuum. Because we have 5 stages. You have what we call presence, which is stage number 1, and you have what's called verbal contact, and you have what's called physical contact, and then you have what's called less lethal, and then you have lethal. So as a police officer at the time, we have to understand where we're at any given time on the continuum, because if your lack of that is why I think sometimes things happen, and your failure to have what we call self-awareness, or firearm awareness, or officer safety awareness, and that led me to a journey where I am today, where I went to study to enhance my skill set.
Of course. So ignorance is not always bliss, right?
Correct.
So if you want to put it another way. So once you finished up in Hialeah, like you said, you were going over to Palm Beach County. You spent some time there. How long were you with that department?
7 years.
7 years.
Right.
And I take it you experienced a little bit more of the same, or was it a different climate? Or?
A little bit different. It's a different type of geography, demographics. So it's a little bit different. But obviously you still have your issues,
Right.
like anything.
Like anything.
But yeah, no, it was a good experience. It was positive, but it was different. It definitely was a different environment, but it was a positive experience.
Okay. Now, so you fast forward now to today, right?
Yes.
Hialeah, Palm Beach County,
PBS.
serving the community, back here now in the security industry, back home, if you will, with Elite Guard.
25 years later.
25 years later.
I've been told I'm the prodigal son.
Apparently so. Apparently
Yeah.
so. And they always come back, right?
Right,
Is that
of course.
how the story works?
Yeah.
So for the listeners, right?
Yeah, of course.
Having been a part of the original, team, if you will.
Yeah.
Before the expansion.
Yeah,
before
1991.
the growth. How would you say the company has changed from the previous 25 years to
Yeah.
present? Is it better? Is it?
Oh, definitely better. I mean, when I approached Mr. Buffington and I met him again, he had the same demeanor and attitude. 25 years later, he welcomed me with open arms. He remembered my service. He remembered everything I contributed to, and that's why I'm here. I mean, that was the main reason I came here, is because I left on very good terms, and it was a very family environment,
Right.
and that was very important to me.
Never burn a bridge, right?
Not only that, but I think Mr. Buffington has still kept the family atmosphere environment where every employee feels like a part of a bigger family, and we still have that cohesive environment, even though we're 10 times bigger than we were when I left.
Gotcha.
So that's
So we're obviously very happy and pleased to have you back with us, man.
I am too.
Part of the team.
I'm very thankful that I've been able to come back.
Yeah. So far, it's been a pleasure to work with you.
Absolutely, yes. You too.
You're professional. You're polite. You're courteous. You give it 110% every single day. Anything or any task that the company gives you, you always do your best to fulfill it.
Yeah, of course.
And do it right. So that's obviously appreciated. So on that note, I do want to ask you,
Yeah.
what do you think has made you, or what lesson do you think that you've had over your life, personally or professionally,
Yeah.
that has made you who you are today?
I would say training was a big part of it. Try to expand your training. Try to not stay the same person you were yesterday. Try to learn something else. For example, I was just talking with someone at Elite Guard, and I'm talking about learning an additional defensive tactic guard. And, I think trying to grow is really important, and trying to make yourself more of a professional, get additional training, just not get the D and the G license, for lack of a better word. And
Now, for the D and G, just for the listeners again, the D license in our industry is what's considered the unarmed classification for security. The G license is the armed security classification, for our industry, just
Right.
so people know exactly, what it is we're talking about when we throw that jargon out there.
Yeah.
Education for the viewers, right?
Right,
That's
of
part
course.
of why we do the channel.
So I think that was really big. Like I really after that incident happened with the gentleman that we told you in an alley, I recognized pretty early on that I lacked that. And I would tell anybody that wants to become a security officer to ensure that you go with the right company. That's important. And Elite is that
What he
company.
means is Elite Guard, guys. That's what
I do mean that. And I would say the second thing is grow, take training, be part of other things, try to become members of other organizations within the security community, and most importantly, just don't stop at your D&G license. Go to ASIS, go to IFPO, go to organizations that promote the CPP, the CPO, the CPI, which I hold all three, and various other certifications, and grow within the industry. Become that guru, if you will, of the security world, where you can not only provide for your employer, but from a personal satisfaction, you know that you've grown, that you're not the same person you were a year ago.
100%.
So I think, and that I think is essential.
Now, for the audience, guys, you can put the pen and paper down. Don't worry about it. We'll drop links to all of the ABC alphabet soup that he just dropped, okay? So for those of you that are interested in, getting a little more literature, getting a little more familiar with what it is that we're talking about from an industry standpoint, we'll include those links for you. But Chris, in closing, what I want to do now, again, we always talk about value add, and that's a big part of our, mission and our mandate as an organization.
Of course.
And that's the main reason why we do this channel and we have these conversations with people such as yourself. I want you to speak to the audience directly for a few moments about what it takes to garner a career that you have touching in multiple avenues,
Right.
from law enforcement to security and,
Correct.
and many other things and many other practices and principles, including your martial arts background.
Right.
What does it take from a character standpoint to build the kind of life that you have personally and professionally? I want you to just talk to the audience for a second.
I would say commitment to yourself, to your family, to your employer. And I would say always remember that when you're wearing your uniform, Elite Guard, that you represent the organization, you represent the company, you represent Mr. Buffington, you represent Jonathan, our manager here, and that you must always understand that when you're in our uniform, you're committed to the moment, committed to the post, committed to the client, and making sure that you're serving Elite Guard, the client, in the best capacity that you can, and grow. Take additional courses. See me, please. I'll be more than happy to mentor you in different areas or arenas that I can help you grow personally and professionally as an Elite Guard employee, and I look forward to doing that with you. I would always tell you, just make sure that you understand when you're on post, follow your post orders, do everything that's expected, and you'll succeed at Elite Guard.
Chris, obviously before we wrap things up here in our conversation, I'm sure for the listeners and the viewers that may want to know, for someone as seasoned as you and as experienced as you, obviously you can't work forever, can't play the game forever, right? Father Time gets all of us. What do you see yourself doing in your sunset years when you finally say, okay, going to retire the jersey, hang up the gloves, I'm going to retire? What does that look like for you?
Well, I've got about 15 more years, so I have a 10-year-old.
Okay.
And I've got a son that's about to start college in about 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So I imagine, thanks. So I imagine that's going to take some time. So I see myself at Elite at least another 15 years. Because until they leave the nest, if you will, for lack of a better term.
You hear that, Mr. Buffington? We're going to have Chris for at least another 15 years.
I'm 50
Quality
now.
control.
Yeah, I'm 50 now, so I'll probably be 65. Given, it's probably going to take them, college, everything. So that, and then at that point, I don't know, travel, I guess, with my wife, go to places and everything, but I'm not really, I'm thinking about that, but not thinking about that. The main thing I'm thinking about is getting my kids through college, providing an excellent service and value to Elite Guard, growing the organization organically, and doing the best that we can, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to that, and then I'll set my hat when it's time.
Good man, good man. Well, I hope and pray all those things do come to fruition for you.
Thank you.
You certainly deserve it. You worked very hard over your life.
Thank you.
And it is difficult to design the kind of life that you have, and for the viewers and the listeners out there,
of course.
if he did it, you certainly can do it. Anyone can do it. But I think the main word that came across in what you were saying earlier is commitment.
Absolutely.
You have to be committed. So
100%.
Once you commit, you're all in. That's it.
That's it.
Like Cortez said, burn the ships behind you.
Right.
There is no retreat. There is no surrender. We're going to win or we're going to lose, but we're going to die trying if we have to.
That's it.
So,
all right. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. So, folks, we want to thank you for tuning in to today's Conversations at Elite Guard. We hope this was a value add to you and to anyone that you may know. We want to encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and we hope to have you back here again with us for our next installment. My name is Jonathan Hamilton. I'm the operations manager for Elite Guard Sunny Owls. Kristian Perez, our special guest today, our quality control manager. We hope you had value here.